Hey everybody, working our way down to the end. Here we go. All right, we're going to talk about fractions today. Finding a fraction when the whole is known. So I'm going to pause this in a second, but draw a picture. You do this and solve it. 2/5 of the runners in the race are warming up. Can you visualize that? You see a big race. You see a bunch of runners. 2/5 of them are warming up. Can you kind of visualize that? Okay. If there are 10 runners warming up, how many runners are in the race? Pause it. Draw a little picture and solve it. So pause it. Okay, now that you're back, I'm assuming you paused it. All right, 2/5 of the runners in the race are warming up. 10 runners. Okay, here they are. A clump of them. There's 10 runners, right? 2/5 of them are warming up. So let's just cut this into 5 chunks, right? Don't cut the runners into chunks. That would mess up the whole race. But you could cut their legs off. Okay, 2/5 are warming up. So in other words, this whole thing is 10, right? So these runners are warming up and these runners are warming up. In other words, that's 2/5, right? Well, if there are 5 chunks of the runners, it didn't sound right. If there are 5 groups of runners, that sounds less disgusting. Okay, there's one part, each one of them going to be 2, right? So 2, boom, there we go. So the total here we're talking about is 4, of course. If you're a visual learner, you can use this. Okay, nasal learners, I can't help you. All right, another one. 3/8 of the townspeople voted. Visualize that. Can you look at that? 3/8 of them voted. Okay, 120 of them voted. How many people live in the town? All right. So in other words, 3/8 of the townspeople voted. So we can draw another little picture here, right? I mean, we could do this. You could divide up to 8 any way you want, right? Like here's, there's a way to divide it up into. It doesn't matter what the picture looks like, as long as there's 8 pieces to this thing. Looks like a pizza I made one time. Okay, anyway, there's 3/8 of them voted. So in other words, this much voted, that much voted, and this much voted. 3 out of 8, right? Okay, 120 of them voted. Well, let's see. This 120 needs to be divided equally among those 3 parts. So 120 divided by 3 is the same thing as 12 divided by 3 with a 0 added. So each one of those is 40, right? So they say, how many people live in the entire town? Well, we assume that all of those, of course, and accurately, will be 40s. So you go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 40s. 8 times 4 is 32. So 8 times 40 is 320. There you go. Okay. Now, eventually, next year, you'll be doing something in pre-algebra where we do this algebraically by doing some kind of an equation. You might have heard some horror stories about the equations, but it'll work really well, and you already have this foundation, so what we're doing in the future will be easier. Okay, here's another one. 6 is 2/3 of what number? 6 is 2/3 of what number? Draw a diagram and solve. You know what? Pause it. You do this yourself. Draw a diagram and solve it. Then unpause when you're finished. Okay. 6 is 2/3 of what number? I mean, let's look at this. I got, let's draw some number is in the thirds, right? Well, somehow this plus this, in other words, the 2/3, this part here is going to equal 6. So obviously, each one of those parts is going to be 3, right? So this part, of course, will be 3 as well. So the entire number, of course, is 9. There we go. Okay. All right. Try the practice problems, and you can do whatever you want. Just do one at a time, or you can do all of them, whatever. We'll unpause it when you're ready, so go ahead and pause it right now. Okay, 8 is 1/5 of what number? You should have drawn something like this, something divided into 5 chunks, like the runners were divided into pieces. No, into limbs. No, into groups. Yeah, okay. 8 is 1/5 of what number? Well, there's your 8 right there, right? So it's 1/5 of one number, which means all these other parts are 8 as well. 8 times 5, boop, 40. All right. Letter B, 8 is 2/5 of what number? We can just use the same thing if you want to. Well, this is the part that's 2/5, right? If both of these together equal 8, that means that this and this are both equal to 4. Well, if that's 2 4s and the entire thing needs to be 5 4s, that's 20. Okay. The third one, 9 is 3/4. Did I read that right? 9 is 3/4 of what number? Well, again, here's your diagram. Yoink. And here we go. This part here is 9, which means that's got to be 3, 3, and 3. And the entire thing altogether with 4 of those 3s is 12. Okay, this D, 60 is 3/8 of what number? Well, let's see if you got it. 160. See, 60 is 3/8, and again, you can do anything you want here, any whatever size you want, and you can do like that if you want to. Here, 3/8. In other words, this, and this are going to be 60. Well, obviously, then each one of those is going to be a 20, right? And then 20. So we have 8 20s. That gives us 160. Last one, E. 3/5 of the bunches of grapes were red grapes. If there were 18 bunches of red grapes, how many bunches of grapes were there altogether? Of course, the answer is 30. So you're looking at this like this. 3/5 were red. I don't know. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4. There's a group of 5. All right. 3/5 were red grapes. I don't know. There's red and there's red and there's red. There they are right there. Okay. Well, there were 18 bunches of red grapes. Over these 3, obviously each one of these has to be a 6. This part's a 6, that part's a 6, and that's the last one. Okay, so if we have 5 of those all together, that's going to give us 30. Boom, there you go. Okay, all right, have a good day. 3 more lessons to go. All right, see you guys next time.